We are back today because Football Manager have officially announced that October the 23rd is go time. The early access beta is going to be dropping at 6 p.m. So today we're going to talk through everything we know about FM26 before we get our hands on it, so we can all get that little bit more excited before the big day. The 23rd of October is Football Manager Day. And we will start this as well by just looking at the tweet, a landmark week. As promised, we're delighted to confirm that advanced access will arrive Thursday the 23rd of October, your initial step into this new era, before the FM26 beta kicks off. Big Spendog and Jared Bowen are playing through the game at 6 p.m. Yesterday as you guys watch this. So if you didn't watch that, go back and watch it on their YouTube channel. It'll be live actual gameplay of Spencer Owen and Jared Bowen playing the game, probably for an hour or two, and there's going to be lots that you'll be able to see in that itself. But of course, Football Manager have announced so much already. As their homepage says, this is a legacy redefined. Football Manager is changing forever. And if you don't know about what's happening on FM, this is going to be the one-stop shop video where you can find out all the new UI changes, all the in-game changes, and the tactical changes as well in this one video. It's going to be a big, long news dump where I'm going to go through absolutely everything that we officially know about the game. This is also a complete leak-free zone, so the unofficial leaks that have come out, I don't want to give them any time, to be honest. I'm here for real news and the news that we actually know is fully true. So let's start off with what's actually changed. And of course, I've got to start off with the fact the game is now on Unity and it looks absolutely incredible. Compared to what Football Manager normally looks like, this is a huge upgrade, and there has recently been an interview with the one I've watched is Work the Space and Miles Jacobson. There is apparently so many little things in the game which just make it feel so much better. They make it feel so much more realistic. Little animations like this Garnacho cross where he looks up, he flings his arm and he crosses it in, the nod down and the volley. There is so many bits in the game now which are so much better than previous, and the actual in-game is one massive reason why we have to be excited about this new era of Football Manager, because we're moving away from a game which looks stuck in 1995 to something which now looks, I mean, let's be real, still mid 2010s. Let's be real, it's not FC26 whatever it's called now, it's FIFA 12, FIFA 13, but that in Football Manager is incredible. I don't ever play FM looking at the graphics and trying to see people's in-depth facials. I look at it for animations and for being able to tell a story and feel a story. And this level of gameplay is going to make that feel so much more immersive. And we also have new tactics onto the game. In possession and out of possession tactics are finally here on Football Manager. We no longer have one base tactic and have to use our imagination and player roles to build out different systems. You can now simply implement a 4-4-2 out of possession, a 3-2-4-1 in possession tactic with two separate tactics for each team, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, for example, here you can see the combined shape in this image, but you also have the in possession where you'll be able to change it, the out of possession where you'll be able to change it, and then both of them will be side by side in a lovely little image. You'll be able to set individual player roles to each position in each player in each formation, which, while it sounds a lot, is basically what we were trying to do on previous Football Managers, but now have the visualization on the screen of being able to actually make two separate tactics for in possession and out possession, which in the modern era is fantastic. We also have the visualizer, which shows where your players are playing effective to their heat maps, which is incredible. You can see that this Man City team is building up with a back two, Rico Lewis pushing up much higher compared to Nico O'Reilly sitting slightly deeper, Rodri central as the pivot, two wide wingers, a advanced playmaker and attack midfielder, and the striker as the focal point up front. You can see this in different phases as well. You'll be able to click on the middle third of the pitch, the lower third and the upper third. You'll be able to click on the right-hand side, the central and the left-hand side, and see how the system builds up in all different phases. You can see that through this image here. They now create the box midfield, defensive four with the DMs, the wide right back, and then you'll have the left winger that'll be doing the up and down over here, the two middle cams, the right winger and the striker. This is how the team is in possession in the middle third in the center. I believe that's what that's trying to say there. We'll learn that as we play the game. Again, I haven't played it yet, so I would love to know more, but that's that. You also have the data hub directly on your screen, which is fantastic for somebody who likes analysis like myself. You have it here out of possession in the middle third, in the defensive third, where the team is sitting very deep. This is Brighton this time. You can see a very narrow back four, the two centre-mids just in front, but the cam and the wingers just in front of that, no higher, and the striker has the out ball, and then you go forward into the out of possession structures where they are on the ball in their defensive third, you're in your offensive third. You have Rutter sitting high and central, and then a massive gap. So Rutter is pressing the goalkeeper. You can see that here with the pressing of short goal distribution, which is very, very clever. This does mean player roles are completely different now. You have in possession and out of possession. There is going to be a lot to learn, and there's really lots of different tutorials on the channel as FM26 comes out, where you guys will get to learn all these with me, because I need to learn them as well. But I'll be the first place where I'm going to be trying to get all of these different tutorials out in short form and in long form. So if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, which over 70% of you are not subscribed, do me a massive favor, hit that subscribe button. FM26 is literally days away. In fact, as I record this, it's 3 days away. I mean, that is incredible. We've waited over a year for this moment, but FM26 is coming. And it's not just a revamped match engine or a change in tactics. The actual user interface has completely changed. They have ripped up what was the old Football Manager, and as Miles Jacobson has said, this is effectively a new game. This is a new era for FM. I mean, just look how different in this video the game actually looks. It is simply insane how different things look. I'm just going to scroll through this video and find some key different points to click into. I mean, for example, this is your new base screen. You have your inbox on the left and a bunch of different cards on the right. You now have your navigation bar at the top with a separate navigation bar underneath, and your bookmarks in the top right. If we scroll on just a little bit more, you will be able to see a few more bits. They've hidden a lot of it because they don't want us to see anything, the snidey people. But, I mean, you can see here sort of them talking to the players. This seems to be potentially like an instant result thing. I don't know if it's exactly what that is, but that was absolutely beautiful. And again, you finish that, it comes straight back into this main screen. You have your first team, as you always have done, and your new player profile screen, which looks absolutely fantastic. You've got, of course, the new roles out here on the left-hand side. You can see all the player progression. Looks like Matoma's going to turn into one of the best players in the world with 19 first touch and 18 dribbling and stupid pace natural fitness. If that's his actual stats, that's a bit crazy, but fair enough. Left foot and right foot is now shown the bar structure rather than the sort of okay and very good or good, not so good, however it was said before. And overall, the screen just is much more visually appealing, which I'm a big fan of. There's a new FMpedia, which is going to be absolutely fantastic for new players or players which haven't played the game in quite a long time. This is going to help you really understand FM once again, because they have done a massive encyclopedia called FMpedia, where you'll be able to find all different information. I mean, if we just go back onto that screen right there, you can see here you'll be able to click into squads, club, staff, training, tactics, recruitment, match, world, glossary, stats. I imagine there'll also be click-ins to the squad, click into the club. Again, we're making content around the FMpedia and making sure we have a audio way of listening to how it's all set up, as well as reading through it on the game itself. But FMpedia is a massive new introduction into the game, and overall the UI has just changed so much, and it's so nice in my opinion. It's a much more modern look at Football Manager than it has been previously. Now, once again, I've listened to the Miles Jacobson interview with Work the Space. He has said for people that play sort of more than 1,000 hours of the game, I myself have around 9,000 through 2 different accounts, which, yes, it's a lot, but you know, I do it for content. If for people that have played more than 1,000 hours, it will probably take you 30, 40 hours to get used to the user interface. For someone who's played the game, you know, for say less than 50 hours before, it will come within an hour. For someone that's never played it, they'll be able to pick it up. Of course, because we've not only got to learn a new system, we've got to unlearn what Football Manager was like previously. And that's going to be a huge change. As again, for someone who does it for content reasons, knowing where to click, knowing which screen brings up which stats, knowing going into a game, if I click this button, it does that. These are all changing. I do believe there's like drag and drop onto the pitch is no longer there. Again, that could be sort of a leak from a couple of days ago, which has been changed. But there seems to be a lot of different changes, which are going to be a big deal to get your head around. And don't be too put off by the fact that if you get confused, if you're a long-term player on FM, it is going to take some time to get used to it. But once we get used to it, I believe it's going to be really nice. And the actual screen is lovely as well. I'm not sure there's anything else on the UI to mention other than bookmarks. You can see here there are 6 bookmarks here. And then there's a bunch of other ones you can set. So these are going to be effectively a separate navigation bar where you'll be able to have more areas to click into at one click of a button rather than to go and find them, which is pretty cool. But it doesn't finish there, because we also now have a recruitment revamp, now powered by Transfer Room, which is a real life thing which clubs use apparently, which is very cool, which you can see a sneak preview down here of Transfer Room Out and Transfer Room In, where on the Transfer Room In, you'll be able to scour the market for players that are available from different clubs which suit your recruitment. And for Transfer Room Out, you'll be able to put players on the transfer room, and teams will act like a real manager and a real club if a player suits that you've got on the market, suits what they're looking for. I'll describe it a bit like Marcus Rashford at Manchester United. We put him on the transfer room, and Barcelona came to us with a proposition to say, look, he's exactly what we're looking for. We'll offer you this. Now, as Manchester United, we were holding out for 30 million, 40 million pounds. And eventually our third choice was Barcelona. That's something that I expect to see in the transfer room, of different teams coming with propositions throughout the window and eventually settling on helping you find players a home that isn't yours because you don't want them anymore. Again, it'll be something we'll learn as we play through. I'm very, very excited, as you can tell. You can now see all your contracts in this one screen as well, which is really handy. I'm someone which, with rebuilds, I often miss out on contracts because I'm simulating. Well, however, now I can see all 90 contracted players here on this one screen. I can see that 0 of them have 0 to 6 months left, 20 of them have 6 months left. So I'll be able to go through and easily give contracts out. And even for your player that doesn't do rebuilds and just plays the game like a normal person does, that's going to be really good to see contracts expiring and bits like that. You'll now be able to see this is like the transfer room. This is recruitment, I believe. You're looking for your in-possession striker for a transfer between 15 and 50 years of age. And you'll be able to submit requirements, and the game will eventually go out there and message all the different clubs effectively and say, look, have you got a striker who's this age that can play in this system? Yes or no, and it'll find your players like that, which is pretty cool. It looks quite similar to the Director of Football screen we've got in FM24, where you ask your DOF for recommendations. It looks quite similar to that, but it's actually going to be going out to the clubs themselves and finding you them players. There's also new smarter scouting, which is really cool, because obviously now there's in possession, out of possession scouting. The way I've described this is using like my Moneyball examples. I might be able to look into a Moneyball stat and do a scout on a player who looks like the perfect playmaker, but also in my system, I need someone that's really good as a defensive, high-pressing midfielder, as well as a playmaker in the same role. So in possession, he's great on the ball. Out of possession, he goes and wins the ball back. However, obviously, there's not really a role for that on FM, so you can't really scout that. However, now you should get a scout report for in possession and out of possession, which is absolutely fantastic. You can also add Ballon d'Or clauses to your players. So the Anthony Martial deal, when Manchester United said, Monaco, if he wins the Ballon d'Or, I'll give you 15 million. You'll be able to do bits like that as well, which should make it even easier to do some transfer tomfoolery, which I'm always a big fan of. And finally, we have the match day experience. Coming on Football Manager is going to be a lot more immersion into the game, a lot more realism into the game. Whether that's women's football or men's football, Football Manager is going to feel very, very different. It is going to look very, very different. It is going to be much more immersive regardless of what league you're playing in. Of course, the Premier League looks absolutely fantastic, but we've also seen clips and screenshots from League 2, from the National League, and the stadiums look absolutely outrageous. You can also see women's football in action as well. It is going to be playable in FM26 for the first ever time with, I believe, 13 different leagues in the game, which is fantastic. And women's football is going to be in the same universe as men's football, which is absolutely brilliant, because I, for one, have always said about doing like under 18, under 21s management in the same universe as club management, as in first team men's football club management. But now you can also add into that, well, you can't do that, by the way. You can't manage an under 18s, but you can now manage women's football. So for me, if I want to start as the women's Manchester United manager, win the league, win the Champions League, I can then go on into the men's game and attempt to work my way up to becoming the Manchester United manager, which I find very cool. You could also do it in the same universe where you have two separate managers. I've seen, I can't remember which creator it is. I want to say it's Gourmet, but it could not be. Doing like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith save. As a Liverpool fan, I think it is him. He's going to be doing the Liverpool women's team and the Liverpool men's team in the same universe and playing as both of them in the same save, which is absolutely awesome. You could do that as Manchester United, you could do that as anyone that has a women's club. You can have both of them, managing both of them, playing as both characters in the same save, which in my opinion is a really cool way of doing more exciting things. I mean, think of like I created the best wonder kid in Football Manager and checked their career. You can now do that in the women's game as well as the men's game. You can do twins in the men's and women's. You can do tallest player and shortest player in men's and women's. You can do so much more things in terms of content, which is very, very exciting for me, but also as a sort of someone that watches content yourselves who are watching this, it should be really enjoyable as well to see different twists on different content spins through men's and women's games. So awesome that's in it. But my main thing there was storytelling on FM, and the actual match day experience is going to level up so much just in the game itself. Just to clarify here on the women's front as well, you can now manage in the Barclays Women's Super League, which is fully licensed, by the way, which is incredible. The Women's Super League 2, so the effective championship, the National Women's League in the USA, the Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga in Germany, the Japanese League, the Serie A Femminile in Italy, the Swedish top division and second division, the Danish top division, the Australian top division, the Welsh top division, and the UEFA Women's Champions League, which is awesome. I believe there is also, there is also France and Spain who both are playable in FM26 as well. I believe these ones are all licensed and the French and Spanish ones are not licensed. For me, I play a lot of FC. I know that Barcelona are the best women's team. The likes of Bonmati with Alexia Putellas, Claudia Pina, if you play FC, you know all about her these days. But it's going to be very fun to do different rebuilds and different content strategies around the women's game as well as the men's game as well. Awesome to see that it's actually on the game now. And you can see different screenshots here of the women's database and the women's player. It looks the exact same. There is literally no difference other than the fact that it's men's and it's women's, which is very fun. There is a whole different actual like match engine as well for women's football, which is fantastic. It means they're going to look and feel like a women's database rather than sort of women's skin on top of the men's game. Is going to feel like you're actually managing and watching women's football, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm someone that went to the Manchester United versus Spurs Women's FA Cup final a couple of years ago and watched United win. I believe it was 4-0 on the day, which was fantastic to see the club lift their first ever FA Cup trophy. And I'm really excited to play with them on the actual FM game as well. It's absolutely awesome. We're now able to do that in Football Manager. And apart from that, that's it. Football Manager have released a whole bunch for FM26. We now need to move on from the disappointment of no FM25 and look to the future. FM26 is here. FM26 is coming on the 23rd of October. And as Miles has said, and as Football Manager say, this is the start of a brand new era, a new legacy for Football Manager. If you could do me a massive favour, like the video and subscribe to the channel, because there is lots of FM26 content coming in just a couple of days' time. So make sure you're locked in, and I'll speak to you guys next time.